ladies and gentlemen, how are we getting on? So, it is patch day once again. We have patch 8.5 today, and it's going to be an interesting one. Got a bit of controversy in today's patch, and to be fair to Bethesda, they're taking the bull by the horns a little bit on this, so it's going to be interesting to have a look at in some more detail. So, let's jump in and actually review the details, shall we? So, Fallout 76 Wild Appalachia patch 8.5 notes, April 23rd, 2019. We are releasing Wild Appalachia patch 8.5 today, which brings the ProSnap Deluxe camera and 2 forms of repair kits to Fallout 76. We're also making balance adjustments for some aluminium items and applying a number of bug fixes. Catch a few highlights below and read on for the full patch notes. Okay, so definitely going to be a controversial one. I did take a little guess as to what this might contain when they announced that there was going to be maintenance and stuff last night, and my big guess was the new camera, so I'm feeling reasonably pleased with myself for being right on that. There we go. So, patch version yada 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 yada. Wild Appalachia. New feature, ProSnap Deluxe camera. So the ProSnap Deluxe is a functional in-game camera that you can use to fill your photo mode gallery with snapshots of your adventures. ProSnap Deluxe can be equipped and favorited like a weapon. Functions much the same way. So use the aim button to look through the camera's lens, and then press the attack button, which is left click on a keyboard, presumably one of the triggers on a controller, and snap your photo. Use a Tinker's Workbench to build the camera and to apply mods like different lenses, which I believe are coming in the future, not necessarily straight away, but maybe there'll be a few already. The camera uses film to take photos, so it's basically its equivalent of ammunition, so that's something to bear in mind. And you can use a Tinker's Workbench to craft additional film. I'm guessing that's going to be plastic and oil. Just throwing that one out there. Maybe a little bit of silver and gold, we'll have to see. It might be in there. When you take aim with the ProSnap Deluxe, it will also display names of nearby locations and creatures it recognises in the viewfinder. Quite a cool little feature. Use it to scan your environment. Assuming you're not getting absolutely owned at the time. Learn to craft the ProSnap Deluxe camera by finding a broken one on the corpse of a tourist who met their end in the wasteland. Once you've acquired the camera, you'll be able to begin the new bucket list quest, which allows you to finish the tourist's photography collection if you so desire. Many new camera-related challenges have been added to Fallout 76 that you can complete using your ProSnap Deluxe. So, normally with things like this, or certainly recently, Bethesda have been telling us where we can go to start the quest. So, they've given us either a poster in the atomic shop or go to a train station and find one there, that sort of thing. They haven't done that this time, which is interesting. My guess is that you'll be able to find a number of tourist bodies that will start it, much like if you've done the Mistress of Mystery questline. I suspect a good place to find these things will be to head out to major tourist locations, maybe Charleston Capitol Building, the Lighthouse up not far from Vault 76, Top of the World, places like that. And I would imagine that'd be a good possibility of a place to find those bodies, assuming there is more than one, of course. So it's going to be functioning like a weapon, so you'll just bring it up on your quick wheel, take aim with whatever button that may be to look through the viewfinder, and then snap the photo. Don't know yet what's going to be involved in crafting film, but I'm going to guess it'll have some interesting materials, because camera film, actually, the chemicals and stuff on it is really quite complicated, so it would make sense to have some rare materials in there. On the other hand, the rarer those materials, the more they shut people out of it, so, or casual users anyway, so maybe not. That'll be interesting to find out about. And they did say they were going to add more lenses and features over time, and that the stuff available at launch would be limited. I think they said just a standard zoom lens, much like you're looking at me through right now, funnily enough. So we'll have to see how much they actually do add straight away at launch. It'll be interesting, but yeah, it should be cool to get to grips with this. I'm particularly looking forward to the on-the-fly approach. Photo mode is useful because you can reposition the camera and fly it around, and it's good for doing B-roll shots that I use for my videos as well. But getting on-the-fly shots in action shots and stuff like that, I think that's where this camera is really going to come into its own. Yeah, that'd be a cool new feature. Looking forward to trying this out. Bucket list quest, it's new content, it'll be fun. Just bomb about the wasteland and take photos in interesting locations. Could be, quite an entertaining, fun time, I think. So, nice little casual quest, I think. The challenges I've mentioned actually came in with the, I think it was patch 8 actually, the last one. and they've actually been floating around in the challenge menu for a while, which I think that's just a holdover from their needing to delay the functionality of it. Well, they had a little bit more time to make it work properly, but obviously didn't get around to delaying the release of those challenges, so you might have had a chance to have a look at some of those already, and they'll become active now that we've actually got a means to complete them. That's cool. So, on to the controversial topic. New consumable utility item, repair kits. Repair kits are a single-use consumable that immediately restore the condition of an item in your inventory. They come in two forms, basic and improved. For basic, each one you own can be used to restore one item in your inventory or stash to 100% condition. Basic repair kits do not consume any of your crafting materials when you repair an item. Additionally, they cannot be crafted, dropped, sold to vendors, or traded with players. I think that is a good thing, a very good thing. I could see that being abused otherwise. After acquiring a repair kit, use it by opening your Pip-Boy, finding an item you'd like to repair, selecting the Inspect Repair option, and choosing Use Repair Kit. The number of repair kits you own will be displayed on the Repair Kit button in the Inspect Repair menu. Basic repair kits are unlockable in the Atomic Shop, using atoms you've purchased or earned by completing in-game challenges. Please note, if you purchase basic repair kits by entering the Atomic Shop from the game's main menu, they will be added to the most recently played character's inventory. So prior to purchasing repair kits, please ensure you've logged into a world with the character you'd like to receive them. So if you've got multiple characters, make sure you're most recently logged into the one you want to get the repair kit, so they could wind up on the wrong character. And you won't be able to trade them across because you already can't trade between players. So, improved repair kits. Each improved repair kit you own can be used to buff one of the items in your inventory or stash to 150% condition. Like basic repair kits, improved repair kits cannot be dropped, crafted, traded, sold, etc, etc, etc. And they don't use any of your crafting materials either. Improved repair kits are not available in the Atomic Shop. They are rare items that you earn by completing in-game content. Currently that content is the Scorchbeast Queen, and only the Scorchbeast Queen. They may be added as rewards for other types of content in the future. Maybe. We'll see. If you own both basic and improved repair kits, you'll be prompted to select which type you'd like to use when repairing the item. So, obviously there's a few things I'd like to say on this. However, before we do that, let's tackle what Bethesda have to say on this, as this is a very important point I think here. A note on utility items in the Atomic Shop. First, thank you to everyone in the Fallout 76 community who took the time to share their feedback and concerns about adding a utility item like repair kits to the Atomic Shop. Over the past couple of weeks, we've examined all the feedback, and today we want to share our thinking when it comes to these types of items and how they relate to the Atomic Shop. When we originally announced the Atomic Shop last year, we said that it will not provide anything that offers a competitive advantage. Not quite sure if that was their exact wording or not, but okay, I'm going to go with it for now. It's kind of the important point either way. We remain committed to that statement and take it into account when we evaluate every new item that we bring to the shop, both now and in the future. While repair kits do offer a way to fix an item in the field, we feel that you will find they are a convenient option you can utilize during your adventures. If we find that repair kits do offer any sort of competitive advantage once they are available, we will make any changes necessary to ensure that our advantage is removed. Very important point. Aside from purchasing atoms, you can also unlock basic repair kits using atoms you've earned from challenges. Additionally, more powerful improved repair kits will not be available in the shop and can be earned by completing in-game content like killing the Scorchbeast Queen. Okay, so I'm very pleased to see Bethesda getting to grips with this and coming right out and issuing a statement on that. I think that's an important, very good move, and it sounds like they have given this proper thought. On the whole, I think I agree with what they're saying. I don't think it's going to be a competitive advantage, and if they are as determined as they seem to be to make sure that should one occur, they will remove it, then that's the right attitude. As they say there, they're not directly saying pay to win, but they're pointing out that atoms can be acquired without spending a bent penny, which is absolutely true, so you don't necessarily have to pay to get these things. Which is a worthwhile point to consider, I think. For me, I agree with the standpoint. I don't think it's going to give a particularly competitive advantage. I don't think it's going to be pay to win or spend atoms to win, perhaps might be a better way of putting it. I do think they are a poor choice, however. Obviously, Bethesda are aware that this sets in a questionable at best precedent, which is one of my big concerns. But from the look of this, and from what they're saying here, they seem to be bearing that in mind and addressing that, which is good. Good to know that they're not taking this lightly. I think that's very important. So, repair kits more generally, how do I feel about it? Personally, I have zero interest in using them. I think they take away one of the challenging elements of the game, and removing challenge from the game I don't think is a good thing. I think it basically defeats some of the point of playing. I think half the fun is that it's difficult. Or there's a lot of fun to be had from it being difficult, perhaps might be a better way of putting it. So for me, what I think they should have done in this case is, for starters, scrap improved repair kits. Get rid of them. Gone. Should not be having those at all in any way, shape or form. I think everything that they do is seriously overkill. If I was doing this, what I would do is make basic repair kits a craftable item, maybe at a tinker's bench, something like that, and I would give them a very high material cost. Not ridiculous, but high. And I would include rare and hard to find materials in that. That way, they're not so overpowered, they're harder to get, people are not going to be using them left, right and centre, and it has a smaller impact on the challenge of your game because you're not just going to have hundreds of these things. On the same note, what I would also do is give them a very, very high weight. You think about repairing items in the field, you're going to need tools, you're going to need a hammer, you're going to need nails, screws, screwdrivers, whatever. You're going to need this sort of thing, maybe even a blowtorch, to repair things in the field with. So these things should weigh a ton, as in bare minimum, I think, £10 an item, which will also mean you can't carry very many, thus significantly reducing their impact on your gameplay. This is just what I would do, by the way. At the same time, I would not have them repairing items up to 100%, and I certainly would not have them repairing up to 150, which is the major reason I get rid of the improved ones altogether. Personally, I'd go with maximum they improve up to 25%. That's not much, but it's enough to get you out of trouble and to somewhere where you can then use a workbench to repair them. Now, it does make a certain amount of sense that you carry some tools to repair your equipment in the field. It makes sense in a survival environment. But take a super sledge for a good example. It's got a metal handle, it's got a solid head either of concrete or metal. It's quite a complex thing. If that breaks, you're not going to be repairing it with gaffer tape. You can't be doing that in the field. You need to go back and find a forge to fix that thing. And guns, yeah, if they jam, I believe that can be done in the field. I'm no expert. That's the impression I get, albeit not quickly. But any kind of repair for a broken component, that's going to be much more difficult to do, and I think that should be reflected in the repair kits, and I don't feel that repair kits as they are do that in any way, shape or form. I think they make it far too easy. I'm going to cut my rant short there. I realise other people have different opinions on it. This is, after all, a community-driven request. It has come from players. People want this. I think they're bonkers, but you're quite entitled to be bonkers if you like. I'm sure there's plenty of people think I am. But there we go, that's my feeling on it. I would restrict them a lot more, make them a lot rarer, a lot harder to carry, and make them a lot less useful, because I just think it would be much more in keeping with the survival vibe of the game. That's my 2 cents on it, so don't expect to see me using any. Certainly not while they work the current way they do. That said, I would like to say again, I don't think they constitute pay to win. I don't think they're going to be particularly a massive advantage. And I think from the look of this, Bethesda have got ahead of things this time, which is long overdue. It's good to see them engaging directly with something and coming right out and saying what their position is. Very happy to see that, and I think they are taking it seriously. And if there's to say, if they do, keep an eye out for any competitive advantage and take that away, that's the right move. So I'm glad to see them engaging with that. I'm very, very pleased. So that's my take on the situation with repair kits at the moment anyway. If you guys have a different opinion, let me know. Quite happy to hear what you guys think. Let's move on before I talk about this for half an hour, shall we? So, design and balance. This is an interesting, obscure little thing that I'm very curious about where it's come from. Aluminium oil cans now grant 1 aluminium when scrapped rather than 1 steel. That just makes sense. And their value has gone up from 9 to 13 caps. Aluminium trays and empty cans now give 2 aluminium when scrapped rather than 2 steel, and the base values have gone up from 1 to 10 caps. Okay. Aluminium items giving aluminium scrap makes complete sense. If they weren't doing the change, yeah, okay, fair enough, logical change. Kind of curious about the selling thing though. I think they're implying is that aluminium is still hard to come by and should be reasonably valuable for that. I think that's probably what they're going for, but it's interesting. Would like to see them elaborate on that a little bit more. But I'm assuming they wanted to keep focus on the big issue above. So, sound. New screen sound effects have been added. Okay. And we get bug fixes. Now this is actually quite a lot smaller than it was last time, possibly because it's a 0.5 patch rather than the full one, and hopefully also because most of the big stuff's getting fixed quite effectively, which is good, I hope. Hopefully. They're also quite specific, which is quite cool. I would also imagine that the extra effort they've had to make for the camera and for player vending, which they've had to push back as well, I imagine both of those things are taking away from some of the time they've got to fix bugs. Just a guess, but, you know. So I would imagine that's why the list is a little bit shorter. But there's some interesting things in here, as usual. I'm not going to go through it all, because it takes quite a while. However, there are a few I want to take a look at. So, a couple of things on camps. There's a few bits and pieces there, but the big ones that I want to focus on are that a few decoration items have been moved around in the menu. They're shifted from sort of lights, I believe, over to wall hanging and things like that. Just to keep it consistent with the current organisational scheme of the menus. I know that has its issues, then again, any system probably will. But yeah, things should be at least logical within the realms of the current setup of the system, so it should make things easy to find anyway. Same thing with some of the crafting items. A couple of pieces of headgear have moved out of outfits into the separate headgear tab, so if you can't find them, that's where they are. That's caught me out before now. So some item changes. All the fast snap masks that I missed out on, boo, they're now immune to condition damage. I'd like to see that with a few of the helmets as well. I've got a fire breather's helmet floating around that keeps taking damage, and that's kind of annoying to repair. But at the same time, I kind of see why. If your gas mask gets shot, it probably won't work as efficiently. Fast snap masks are now immune. I'm vaguely curious whether or not those actually function as gas masks if you go into the ash heap or not. It'd be interesting if they did, but it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, so probably not, I'm guessing, with this change. Anyway, mods. This is an interesting one to me, because I've noticed this issue before now. Found mods can now correctly be applied to power armor and weapons. So I have found a few mods, particularly for power armor, that I've wanted to equip. I forget what they are now, I've got them floating around in my stash. But when I actually came to equip them, they didn't show up and I couldn't do it, which was a little annoying, but there we go. Now I will be able to do that, that's good. And the Salvage Assaultron's head now requires the Science Expert perk rather than the Gunsmith perk, which makes sense. It's a complicated piece of robotics, so everything else like that's on Science, particularly with energy weapons. Yeah, makes sense for that to be over there. So, a couple of other changes. Encrypted, that's come with Lying Low. It's the new event that ends that particular quest line, and that is repeatable. Got some good rewards that, by the way. Should check that out if you haven't, especially if there's plenty of people farming it. So the individual pylons during the encrypted event will now only register one interaction at a time and only count as one of the 3 required pylons. So I'm guessing what people were doing was running over to one of the pylons, spamming them, and using that to activate all 3, and therefore making it a lot easier and quicker. Now they will actually have to be manually activated at each pylon, so the event will function as intended rather than being... I don't think I'd exactly call it an exploit, though I suppose it kind of is. It's not a particularly serious one, but it makes this change will make it function as intended and make it a little bit more challenging. You're saying something, because this is definitely one of the more challenging events that's been added to the game in, well, probably since launch, in fact. But there we go. And there's one little change to photo mode, which is particularly relevant to me, and I don't know if some of you guys maybe have noticed or not, but the Looking to the Future pose can once again be selected and used in photo mode. So it was one that you could buy from the Atomic Shop, and at some point in the fairly recent past, that disappeared from the list of options in photo mode. I noticed this myself. Bugged me because there were a couple of occasions I wanted to use it. And I went through the Atomic Shop, tried to find it, tried to put it back into place, and I couldn't, in short. So now that should be reappearing in menus, and you should be able to use it again, which is good. Nice little fix. So as I say, there's a few bug fixes I haven't gone over, so if you'd like to check those out, I'll post a link over to the patch notes down in the description as well, so you can have a look for yourself, but we've covered probably 80% of everything here today. So, very, very interesting, a little bit controversial, very good to see Bethesda getting out in front of the issue at the moment, particularly surrounding the repair kits issue. As I say, I strongly feel that they are majorly overkill and I don't have any interest in using them, but I think a lot of people's fears are unnecessary, and I think Bethesda are addressing that, which is good. I'm very, very pleased to see that. So, do let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. I do hope you found this interesting and informative. If you did, do hit those buttons for me. It's always very, very much appreciated. Social media links should be popping up about now as well. If you want to catch up with me on Twitter, Instagram, etc, etc, please do. If you haven't been doing, do stop by and catch up on one of the streams as well. We're having a lot of fun playing Fallout, and I think I'll start reintroducing a couple of other things into rotation as well now. Rage 2's on the horizon. I can't wait for that game either. Seeing a lot of good stuff on YouTube about that as well. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I will be speaking to you all very, very soon.